This is Buried Treasure. In the 1940s, thousands of animation cells were drawn to create early cartoons. To save money, Superman cells were often cleaned and reused, so very few exist today. This is the Wykes Wild Card.
This one is like my heart and soul, so. Originally, I bought the Superman cell for a few $1,000s. It was over a decade ago. But the emotional value is priceless to me.
This is what we like to do, okay? Our friend Steve is the comic book expert in the world.
Okay.
Are you willing to go up there and find out what these are worth?
Wow, sure, it sounds great. I'm really anticipating some excitement.
Taking away major stuff. When Greg walked in and saw posters worth $500,000 on the wall, he knew he was in the mecca of comic books. Hey, good to see you.
I'm Greg, so nice to meet you.
We're the world's largest dealer of vintage comic books. We buy and sell vintage comic books every day of the year.
Hopefully we can, potentially work out some sort of deal. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what you brought today.
Be careful of the pages here.
Oh, that's great. Hulk #1 from '62.
So, how's the condition of it?
Few things come to mind. What I'm seeing here is a little bit of color touch.
You can tell there's different colors here. The purplish blue is different here than it is here. You look down into the spine of this, and on the edges you can see there's blue.
Oh, there it is.
Bleeding through.
This is not considered like restoration then, right?
It is restoration, but it's an amateur form of restoration rather than a professional form of restoration. It brings down the value tremendously, unfortunately.
I would probably try to price it at maybe about $2,000.
You could see in his face, he was so bummed.
Interesting.
Maybe $2,200.
He thought it was worth like 10 times what they said.
And I'd really like to buy it from you. And I'd buy it today.
You know what? Let me do this. I'll hold on to it for now, but maybe we could talk again.
And I wasn't surprised, actually, when he turned it down. This is not a good sign for the rest of the collection.
This is one of my favorites here.
Wow.
Amazing Fantasy 15.
This is actually my favorite comic book.
So obviously you have his original Fantasy 15 from 1962. First appearance of Spider-Man. Fantasy 15 is considered the most valuable Silver Age 1960s comic book. And we've sold copies anywhere from $500 to $300,000.
You know, when I look at this, it reminds me of a copy we bought recently. This comic book is one of the highest grade copies known to exist on the face of the planet.
Oh my God.
That book is probably worth an easy $250,000. Maybe up to $350.
And it's the same book, right?
So, back to this comic book.
Can I take it out?
Sure, go ahead.
In terms of what I'm looking at, this particular defect, a piece of tape has gotten stuck to this book.
You think so?
Somebody took paper from another book that was brown and has created a defect. I mean, it does have an impact on the value. I think I would be comfortable about $4,400.
Greg had really high hopes of this comic. He was desperately trying to think, maybe these guys are wrong.
I don't know what to do. I don't want to undersell it.
I would throw an additional $1,000 onto the deal.
I don't know. I mean, I'm very apprehensive about it, but let's go.
There's a deal.
Got it. Greg showed to Liga that he could sell something, but his favorite thing was yet to come.
This is the rarest one over here.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a Fleischer cell. 1941 Fleischer Superman cell.
I love the black background behind the S on the emblem.
How's the condition?
You know what? It looks good to me. It looks great.
It's clean.
Yeah.
It's very clean.
Yeah.
Very unusual to see, Fleischer cells come out on the market. The reality is that Superman cells are particularly rare. I'd like to own it. I would pay for this particular cell $50,000.
Wow. Wow, that's
I was blown away, but I didn't see this excitement really in Greg's face.
What I'm really contemplating is what if there's a celebrity who would come and offer more? For example, Nicolas Cage collects comics. I would want to contact him.
Well, we sold Nick Cage's collection, so he's one of them. Wow.
We told you we were bringing you to these guys. These guys know what they're doing. They know the market better than anybody. But he just didn't want to hear that news.
It's not a piece that I want to sell.
I'm hearing that you're very conflicted at any price.
The thing that I'm struggling with is A combination of the emotional attachment to something that inspired me greatly to do the work that I do professionally. You sure, sweetie? Sweetie, I appreciate that you don't want me to sell the piece, and in a weird way, it makes me want to sell it more for you.
Are you ready right now to do some type of deal with us?
All right, 58?
50,000.
Honestly, this is not a piece that I want to sell. Maybe we should keep in touch and maybe in time come together again.
Certainly no problem with that.
Thank you, sweetheart. I love you, baby. That's so nice.
Your piece.
He was so touched that she doesn't want him to sell. And this was a day that brought them together.
Thank you so much for coming down. Really appreciate it.
It was a real struggle for me, but you know, I feel great about it now, and I think we've made the right decision.
Yeah.
Who knows what it could be worth later.